Hello, I'm Dr. White with Highland Park Animal Hospital, and I'm here to talk to you about dog fleas and ticks, the obviously unwelcome guests in your home. My assistant Jess is going to be here asking me a few questions.
Dr. White, how does my dog get fleas and ticks?
So fleas very actively come inside of your home looking for your dog. Whether you have an indoor dog or one that goes outside, we have lots of animals like possums and feral cats that come right outside our back door and drop them off. So they happily come inside. Same is true with ticks. Ticks are very well carried by our regular just wildlife outside.
Can fleas and ticks spread from my dog to my home and family?
So fleas and ticks, depending on which species, can actually spread to your family. Fleas, if they're really hungry, will certainly bite humans, and ticks absolutely will attach to humans. So it's going to be something really important that we keep out of our home, because once they're in, they're much harder to get rid of.
Can my dog get fleas and ticks if they are primarily an indoor dog?
Absolutely. Our indoor dogs and even cats often will end up with fleas because we have so many species that just actively come in our home.
What health problems can fleas and ticks cause my dog?
So there are several tick-borne diseases that can make our dogs really sick, with everything from an infectious arthritis to even severe anemia and death. Our fleas do carry quite a bit of babesia and some other of those scarier things. You know, the big thing that we want to make sure of is we just want to prevent them before we get an active anemia or something else. And that's our big stuff, but even on top of that, they can be itchy, scratchy, and end up with a skin infection.
How effective are flea and tick medications?
Our oral flea and tick medications are incredibly effective. Almost all of our modern products will kill fleas within about an hour and a half, and every flea on their body, 99% will be dead within 24 hours. The same is true with ticks, and the biggest reason we care about that with ticks is if we kill them before they've been attached, we can prevent tick-borne diseases.
What is the difference between over-the-counter and prescription flea and tick medications?
The biggest difference between over-the-counter is over-the-counter you can only buy topical products, and the biggest thing with that is whenever we're using a topical product, if we aren't using a brand name, there are no studies saying whether it's effective or not. When we're using an oral product, the studies were done through the FDA, so we can prove their efficacy and prove their safety. That's just not true with some of the over-counter topical products. The caveat to that is Frontline, Advantage, and Thrust Collar all did studies on their products to show they're effective.
What different types of flea and tick preventative treatments are there? Oral medications?
So there are oral medications that last 3 months or 1 month. There are topical liquids that you put on your pet, and there's also a single collar that's studied called a Seresto collar that absorbs through the skin and into the bloodstream. Most of the other stuff that you see over the counter, the sprays, the powder collars, are really not terribly effective. They'll just kill what's on their body at that very second. They won't prevent any more infection.
What will my veterinarian recommend for flea and tick treatment?
Here in our hospital, we typically recommend oral preventions because of the fact that you don't have to worry about washing it off or how your pet's going to react to it. So we typically use Bravecto in this clinic or Cordelia, which is a monthly.
How can I identify fleas on my dog?
So you really can't for most people. Fleas are really fast and they're really good at running and hiding. On top of that, our pets are really talented at biting them back. So you really are very uncomfortably not going to find them. So typically what we see is hair loss near their tail and a lot of itchiness, and that's kind of our first clue. You might also see what looks like dirt on your pet, and that's actually flea feces. So I'll be honest, you probably won't see them unless they get a really bad infestation. So hope you don't find them.
How can I identify ticks on my dog?
So ticks tend to hang out in places that dogs aren't going to be able to get to quickly, because otherwise your dog would bite them back. So they actually tend to hide in places that are not easy to find. Things like mouth folds, ear folds, in between toes, and way up under armpits. So again, you probably will not see them. What's more common is that we find your dog has a tick-borne disease. Unfortunately, we don't find the tick.
What should I do if I see fleas or ticks on my dog?
If you see fleas and ticks on your pet, you should immediately take them to your veterinarian so that we can get them on appropriate prevention. And then if we think that there's concern for tick exposure, we may recommend tick testing to look for diseases. If you have any other questions regarding fleas and ticks, our staff and I would love to answer your questions, so please call us.